So, Mr. Satyarthi, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Zheng Chengzhi, and I'm representing the Cinnamon Conversations here at NUS. So, today I have some questions gathered from our student community, and we're very excited to be asking you about them.
Thank you, Zheng.
Thank you. So, to begin, I'd like to ask about before your career as an activist, because you worked in electrical engineering. So, how did that engineering background shape you or help you in your activist journey?
Well, the work of social transformation or structural change in society is not possible without being scientific and analytical, rational, and so on. So, rationality and emotion, heart and mind should have that equilibrium. So if we are just driven by our emotions, we do great, but we can make some mistakes. So it is important that we have to be more scientific and rational. Engineering taught me to be more precise as much as possible, to be more analytical as much as possible, do proper planning, create empirical evidence or collect data and evidence, and build strong arguments for your cause, for your mission, in addition to the real life stories of children and work. So that was very helpful.
I see. I think that's quite insightful. And not just because many of our students are engineers, but also because we all believe in multidisciplinary learning, of learning from different disciplines and channeling them towards our aspirations. So certainly you are very inspiring in that regard. So my next question concerns activism, because when one fights for social causes, it may be tempting to feel cynical or wish to give up because of the sheer difficulty of some of these problems, and certainly activism comes at a great personal cost sometimes. But despite the fact that you have faced such difficulties and you have even faced threats or violence, you have continued to fight for what you believe in. So what is it that gives you this courage and conviction to continue?
I strongly believe that if you are convinced with certain ways to bring about change in the society, you can become resilient, you can become more determined, strong from inside. But before that, it is necessary that you have to have a clarity what you wanted to do, why you wanted to do, and how you wanted to do. So these questions should be raised time to time. Social transformation is difficult, change is difficult, because there is mental complacency, there are vested interest, and the vested interest includes the connivance of political power, the money power, and the power of criminals and so on. But one has to be prepared for that. As you rightly pointed out, that I have been attacked several times. My colleagues were attacked and injured badly. I have my broken leg and injured shoulder. My backbone is also wounded, and so many other places in the body. I lost two of my colleagues. One was beaten to death and one was shot dead. But every time when they tried to kill my colleagues or me, I regained my confidence or strengthened my confidence in my work, because the people who are opposing, the people who are attacking, are the one who are feeling threatened. And since they are feeling threatened, means they are getting weak and weak.
Right.
So if they are weak, only then they wanted to remove me from their path.
Mm.
So fighting against the weaker people um, gives you more self-confidence, because then you're going to win.
Mm.
But my fight was always non-violent, and that has its own strength. If somebody is carrying a gun, or somebody is carrying some other arms, and I don't carry anything, I never hit anyone, that gives me a better chance that others can also join me, because everybody will not join with their guns, and we cannot uh, provide guns to everyone. And if we bring one gun, then the perpetrators, the slave masters, traffickers can bring 10 guns, or they can bring a better, sophisticated gun. So that is endless thing. So how to fight this violence and crime through the non-violence method is a challenge, but it has its own power, which I have learned from Mahatma Gandhi.
I see.
Yeah.
Thanks for the empowering sharing. So, I think on a related note about activism, but also perhaps a lighter note, to say that your job is stressful, I think, is an understatement. So, how do you personally cope with or relieve your stress?
Well, when you feel that this is the mission of life, and your life is a mission for something, then you start enjoying that life and that mission. If we realize that the work we are doing, sometimes succeeding, sometimes failing, sometimes stopping for a while in front of some obstacles and trying to find a strategy and way out to remove those obstacles. This all gives us a challenge, but also a kind of joy that we are heading towards the mission, towards our goal. So I enjoy my work. I do not take stress in it. This is one. And secondly, I always say that if you are working with some cause on some subject, some issue, then this issue and you should merge with each other. My issue or my mission is children, well-being of children, protection of children, education and care of children, rights of children. So I tried to keep my inner child alive, happy, and joyful. Unfortunately, our ecosystem, our environment, our education systems, our family upbringing or social norms make us, or I would say, condition our mind and our thought, our behavior in such a way which is useful for the society. So this use is determined by society, that you have to be too much disciplined, you have to curtail your behavior, or you have to behave this way or that way, or not this way, not that way, etc., etc. And that is much more stressful to get conditions in that environment. And then we slowly lose our originality of being a free human being. Everyone is born with freedom. Freedom is a divine gift. Learning is a divine gift. But if somebody or some system curtail your freedom or curtail your ways of learning in a free environment, that becomes much more stressful in life. And then you are conditioned to be more part of system, tool of system, fuel of system, lubricant of system. So now the phrase disruption or disruptive is being used as a reaction to that too much rigid um, systemic behavior.
Right.
Um, so it is important that I should go back to my child, my inner child. And childhood for me is not an age factor. Simplicity is childhood. Truthfulness is childhood. Being original is childhood. If I'm angry, I can express my anger. If I'm sad, I can cry. So if I cry, I'm not weak. Crying is much more courageous than hiding your in emotions or curtailing your emotions. That makes you more coward because you don't want to show your emotions to others. And that is sometimes creating mental problems and issues and psychological problems. So when you are working with a free mind, and in my case, I work like a child. I need not to be artificial to show something else to someone else. So whatever is my belief, I act accordingly.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Satyarthi. I think this is something our students can take away as well. Yeah. So, Mr. Satyarthi, I'd like to ask a question about leadership, because during these many decades of your life, you've certainly worked in many different charities and organizations, such as Bachpan Bachao Andolan, and also the Global March, right? So, what would you say are the essential qualities of good leadership?
Well, there are hundreds, maybe thousands of books, and hundreds of them or dozens of them are best-selling books on leadership. One can easily get those books from the market.
Right.
But I always call for a new kind of leadership.
Okay.
That is compassionate leadership. Not just the thoughtful leadership. Not the strategic leadership. Not the power-driven leadership. Not the wealth-driven leadership. That can follow. But the true leadership is compassionate leadership. What is that? A leader has to be compassionate. That means she or he must feel the suffering of others, his colleagues, his followers, or his friends, as his own suffering. Their pain should be felt as his or her own pain. That feeling should be there. Then the drive and effort should come to elevate that other person's suffering as your own suffering. So a political leader who is sitting on a chair or struggling for a chair, my question is that whether that political leader feel the suffering of his fellow citizens as his own suffering, others' problem is her own problem, and try to resolve those problems as he will resolve his own problem or his biological children's problem or spouse problems. That kind of deeper sense of connect with others should emerge. Similarly, if there is a CEO or a company manager or or the president of the company, if that person is a compassionate leader, then I tell you that the productivity would be higher. The environment would be more friendly and conducive, because then he is interacting, communicating, and behaving in day-to-day life with his board members in a different way. If somebody from the board, and he is the leader of the entire board or entire company, all of them sitting in the board, if they feel each other's sufferings as their own suffering and try to to elevate that, then it would be a different kind of relationship. And that goes down. That goes down to the workers in the company. Then it goes down to people who are working in the workshops as laborers or daily wage earners or other kind of work they are doing. It goes down to suppliers and the supply chain. So it goes down to the last person who is somehow contributing in any manner for this company.
Mm.
And if you create that kind of compassionate leadership skills inside you, then the company would be a different company.
Right. Yeah. So
And the productivity will grow multiple times.
Right. And this call for empathetic leadership, I think, is something we can all learn from. Thank you very much for that. So it looks like, we're almost at time. So I'd like to end on this note. Do you have any parting words for our students or for the young adults in Singapore?
Well, I'm not a lecturer or a priest or a leader in that sense. As one of you, young people, students or alumni, I can share my own mantra, which I have experienced and still trying to experience it. And I've learned, that is my learning, not teaching for others. And that mantra is 3D.
3D.
3D. The first D is dream. As human beings, we have that ability to dream. Not during the night time, but dream in the day. Dream big. Dream bigger. Dream the biggest. Dream the biggest. Go to the highest level of dreaming. If you wanted to be a teacher, good dream. But why don't you dream to become the president of the university? Dream like that. Dream biggest. But those who dream for themselves, they do not make this world a better place, a peaceful place.
Right.
Sometimes their dreams becomes difficulties for others. Problematic
A selfish
for
dream.
others. Selfish dreams. Your selfish dreams may work for you, but it may not work for others. So dream for betterment of others also.
Okay.
Try to involve everyone possible in your dream. So dream big and dream better. That is one dream. My second D is discover. Discover your inner power. Discover your inner potential. Everybody has that potential. Otherwise, why we are born? Why we are alive? Every breath of oxygen which goes and comes is a symbol that we are alive and we can do anything which the greatest people on the earth have ever done in the past. That strength. But also discover, explore the possibilities in the external world, the opportunities in the external world. There's so many opportunities which come and just go because we are careless. Sometimes we are not clear in our mind. We have confusion in our mind without clarity. So the opportunities go away. And then we always, cry, sorry. And then those opportunities will never come back.
Yeah.
So be very specific and use that opportunity. This is the second D, discover. And my third and last D is, if you have dreams, if you can discover, then whom are you waiting for? Do. My third D is do. Act now. Don't wait for others. Don't wait for a better place. Don't wait for a better time. You are the one. Time is now. Place is this. Do. So dream, discover, and do. to be happy, to be peaceful, and to make the entire world happy and peaceful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I think that was a great personal mantra. So on behalf of everybody, I'd just like to say again, thank you so much for your time and all the best on the road ahead.
My pleasure,
Thank you.
and keep it up.
Thank you.